Good morning, this is Mr. Kamotho with Maths with Ease, and I want us to understand example 3 of Algebra 7, still under quadratic equations and how to solve them. And we are told to solve the equation that is given as x, open bracket, 3x minus 13 is equals to 10. The very first thing is actually to open the bracket, and we are going to say 3x squared minus 13x is equals to 10. And as you can see, because of the presence of x squared, this equation qualifies to be a quadratic equation. And we all know that quadratic equations should be solved when they are always equals to 0. It is easier that way. So that means this 10 has to come across and leave 0 on the right hand side. So we rewrite it in terms of 3x squared minus 13x minus 10 is equals to 0. And at that point, there are no common factors between 3 and 13 and 10, so we cannot divide. But we can always get the BAC approach. Now we know it. The BAC, our B in this equation is negative 13, and our AC is 3 times minus 10, which is minus 30. And the two very famous questions, which two numbers do we add? And they give us a negative 13. And the same numbers we multiply, they give us a negative 30. You may be tempted to think it is 3 and minus 3 and minus 10. Yes, it is true, minus 3 plus minus 10 is minus 13. You cannot have minus 3 plus minus 10. Yes, it is true, this one should give you minus 13. But you see, when you multiply negative 3 times negative 10, it is not going to give you negative 30, because negative times negative should give you a positive. So those are not the terms. Very fast, 15 by 2 is also 30, but it should be minus 15 plus 2, such that minus 15 plus 2 is 13, and minus 15 minus 15 times 2, negative 15 times 2 is now the negative 30. And those are the terms. The moment we realize the terms, now our next responsibility or task is to break the middle term as we know it, which is negative 13x, and substitute it with the factors that we have found. So 3x squared minus 15x plus 2x minus 10 is equals to 0. What is common within the first two terms? Of course, 3 is common because the 15 divides 3, and x is common because there is x squared here and there is an x there. So 3x squared divided by 3x is x, minus 15x divided by 3x is minus 5. Then positive, this sign comes here. Between 2x and minus 10, of course, 2 is common, so 2 becomes the watchman. It is outside the bracket. Inside the bracket, we have 2x divided by 2 is x, minus 10 divided by 2 is minus 5. Close the bracket, and this is equals to 0. Now, this bracket and these ones are identical, of course, and we write it once, so x minus 5 into bracket, open another bracket, and now the factors that were outside the bracket form a bracket of their own, and the product continues to be 0. And again, we realize that there are two numbers, this bracket times this bracket, and the product is 0. It is either one of the bracket is 0 or both of them are 0. So if it is x minus 5, which is 0, then definitely the value of x is a positive 5. And if it is 3x plus 2, which is 0, 3x becomes negative 2, and therefore x becomes negative 2 over 3. And those are the two possible values of x. So we have x can be 5, and x can also be negative 2 over 3. And that is just like it. Thank you.